Let's go. Welcome to episode 4 of the Easy Project.
Welcome to my boy, Birdie. What's up, bro?
Just hanging, boys. How you guys doing?
How you doing, bro?
I'm busy.
Nice.
You look
very
busy,
busy.
mate. Looking
I look
fit too, mate.
Yeah,
I look
fit.
busy in my singlet and shorts. This is my work attire now that
I'm meant to be at a meeting now, is that right?
it's on the computer. It's on the computer. I wear this and then I pull on a polo and then it
Love
makes me
it.
look like I'm really formal, but I've just got thongs and shorts on underneath.
Look at you, mate. How good's that, mate? Look, I want to give you your flowers, mate. Okay, so you've played over 350 games in the NRL and Super League. State of Origin repping New South Wales 18 times. All-time legend for the Blues. Killer. Played 17 test matches for the Australian Kangaroos. Represented the Indigenous All-Stars 5 times. And in 2006 to 2009, you were posed on the Naked Calendar.
Yeah.
Wow.
I looked much better when I was younger. It's a bit lighter as well.
Now running a couple businesses after the footy career and doing a lot in the Indigenous community and sharing the love of the game with your boy Clive Palmer, Southport Tigers.
Yeah, you forgot Southport grand finalists.
Ooh, hey.
Oh.
Yeah. Hey,
Against-
man,
against Burleigh,
that's a bit
like-
of a controversial one.
Yeah.
Why is that
Southport Tigers.
controversial?
Nah, we'll give you that one. We'll give you that one. We'll give you the local league
It
grand
was, it
final.
was the only one I got, the local league grand final. So, no.
Nah, man.
That's good.
How's it been, man? Like we started this and we just thinking about guests to bring on, and we just thought, man, we know the Bird man. We know he's got some mad stories, so we wanted to bring you on. You know, the whole point of this is obviously we want to see how you're going. We know life is not the easiest after, doing something you love for so long. Like we talk about the transition phase, but we know that you're doing okay, but we just want you to share your journey with us today.
Yeah, no, I'm going good now. Yeah, there's always highs and lows like everyone else. You retire. I played 18 years professional,
Yeah.
which is a long time. I was straight out of high school, 17 years old, when you get started in rugby league, and that's pretty much takes up your whole time, takes up every bit of your being, every bit of your what you want to put your time into. Back then, I didn't really focus on anything else. It was just rugby league.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, these young guys get pushed into education and pushed into. Some guys might start a little bit later, and they might have an apprenticeship or something like that. So they got something else to fall back on. But for me, after 18 years, I was like 35. You retire, and then you basically got to make it up as you go. It is a bit of a transitional period. I played a lot of golf, which was good. Drank a lot of beers, which probably wasn't that
Love your
good.
golf, eh?
But yeah, I think I've sort of fallen on my feet now. With a bit of help from my cousin, we've sort of started a little. What started as a little business has sort of escalated into a little bit more of a national business where we're doing corporate furniture removal, diverting redundant furniture which offices don't want. They need to give their office back to their landlord, and they've got to get rid of all their furniture. We come pick it up and source local charities to give those items to, and then auction the rest off, basically diverting as much as possible from landfill. So much waste out there, and it's sort of a very, very niche market that we're doing, but it's been picked up pretty well.
So good.
Awesome. Because I was talking to Eddie before, I remember when you started your NRL career and you were young. I remember watching you play against the Warriors in 2002, is that right?
Yeah.
In a semi-final, and I go, that's crazy, man. Greg Bird's the same age as me, and I'm up in the stands watching you play 5'8", and you would have been so young and raw. I don't know, how old would you have been then?
I was 18.
Yeah, so 18.
That was my first year. I went to Sydney. I think I played 6 games throughout the year, in a row, and then might have been 8 games, and then I got dropped.
Yeah.
Against the Warriors again. I scored a try. I think it was on
I
my
remember
first
that.
try. It was on socials the other day.
Yeah.
It's my first try. I scored a try. Come off. I was so pumped after the game, and then Tuesday night, because we used to see whether we were in the team back then. You have to watch Sports Tonight at 11 o'clock when they put the teams up. And I wasn't in the team, and then spoke to the coach the next day, and he goes, "Oh yeah, you can have a rest now." I was like, "All right." And then right at the end of the season, got called in after I'd been on Mad Monday, actually.
Standard.
So I'd been playing reserve grade. It was we got knocked out in the minor semi. we got knocked out, then had a week, like my first Mad Monday as an adult, basically.
Yeah.
18 years old in Sydney, doing what you do, drinking for a couple of days and then having a rest and drinking again. And it was Thursday, we went out on the terps with the guys at Coyotes in Cronulla, which all the old boys know, but none of them young kids. It was $2 drinks. $2 drinks. So
$2 drinks.
Yeah, so you used to go mad. And then I got a phone call Friday morning from Chris Anderson, because he didn't carry 18th men back those days. It was just the 17 in the team. And then, you just made it up from there. Got a phone call and said, Chris Anderson said, Chris Beatty's just torn his hamstring at training in warm-up. Can you come down to training? It was like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
We played Saturday. So this was Friday morning. I was like, yeah, I'll come down and train. I said, I'm pretty pissed. Yeah. And he goes, you'll be right. Just drink it out, drink it off.
Yeah.
Opes was pretty old school. All those old rugby league players, Bulldogs especially, were pretty old school in the way they trained, the way they drank, the way they prepared. But, so went down to train and I spoke to the coach. He said, you don't know how much time you get. You might not get. You might get a couple of minutes. And then this is St. George. We played St. George at the Sydney Football Stadium. And 2 minutes into the game, Matty Johns breaks his neck. Like he's on the ground and the physios run out there. They've lost to 5'8". I was playing back row in reserve grade. They've lost to 5'8", and remember Chris Anderson just turned around and was like, who can play 5'8"? It was just like three props and me.
Yeah.
And went out there, played like 78 minutes in a preliminary. I got man of the match. And then, got a start in the big game against the Warriors.
Because I remember that was the year of the Warriors. I thought they were going to go on and win that. And we were just in stands just being mad fans. And we're just going, holy heck, you got Greg Bird out there. Because I know of you from when I was young, we're same age.
Yeah.
And you played up at Newcastle as a junior and I played at Parramatta. But you're always playing the year up because you're just better than everyone back then.
That was
better than everyone, always just playing up above.
No, that was that team. We had the same 16s team as we had SG Ball team. Because we had a really good 16s team up there with Mick Ennis. You remember Sean Scewthorpe and these guys, these local guys that sort of never kicked on, but Brad Tye, Riley Brown,
solid
a lot of boys.
Solid team, man.
A lot of boys that played, a fair bit of first grade. So we had those players in under 16s, and then basically the next year we won that comp against Penrith, and that Penrith team was good. But then the year later, we played Penrith with SG Ball, and I think a couple of front rowers were 18, but the rest of us was the same team. So we just got lucky.
Take us back to your debut. What was the feeling, obviously, getting picked for that?
Yeah, it's pretty massive. Everyone remembers their debut. We played the Bulldogs at Shark Park. I was coming off the bench playing back row. I was playing all year. I remember my first touch. I sort of caught a long ball on the edge in yardage from Noddy, Brett Morley, and Nigel Vunganall wedged me and jammed me as my first touch in rugby league, and I was like, "Oh, welcome to NRL." It was good. It was an amazing experience. You sort of, as you guys know, you live your whole life with the major focus. All you want to think about is playing NRL, playing as many games as possible, and when you get the chance at 18, that was pretty special.
Amazing, man.
Let's take us back, man, because where's Greg Bird from? Is it a Newcastle? Is it Maitland?
Maitland. Everyone says Newcastle. So my wife, my wife was born in Maitland, but she says she's from Newcastle.
No way.
I was born in Newcastle, but I always say I'm from Maitland.
Yeah, Maitland boy.
Yeah.
How's that? What was that like growing up in Maitland?
Mate, it was good. It was good. It's country. You used to compare it to things like this. Used to ride your bike to school and catch the bus and play up with your mates and not come home till the sun come down, basically. It was good fun. Walking around the scrub. I had family up in Tamworth, so we'd be always right up full country.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoyed it. Played soccer until I was 11. My mum thought rugby league was too rough for me.
Crazy, man.
One
of the toughest kids here.
Yeah, and then started playing league and yeah, the rest is history. Played for West Maitland Red Dogs. West Maitland, East Maitland, sort of the rivals. Up there, we were the wrong side of the tracks, and they were the nice kids. And then I ended up marrying my wife, who's from East Maitland. So
brings back memories.
Yeah. So yeah, mate, it was a good childhood up there. I couldn't ask for anything else.
What
Really.
was your ambitions of, like? Did you want to be a Newcastle Knight or?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Like, I wanted to play for the Knights, like yourself.
Yeah.
But they didn't want me. I played like the junior school reps and things like that, Australian schoolboys and stuff when I was 17, and they just saw me as an under-20s player. When Chris Anderson and Theo Burgess they just moved to Cronulla, taken over Lengy's job, and I was sort of rebuilding that place. They told me to come down, and I went in the top 25, and you'd be training with the seniors team, and I was like, how good's this? I went to the Knights and said, look, I just want to, can you put me in the top 25? It's not about cash.
Yeah.
I didn't care about the cash. I just wanted to be in the top 25. And they sort of said, no, you're an under-20s player. You just have to wait your time. And I was like, I actually don't have to wait my time. I'm going to Sydney. It's a shame. I think there's so many good young kids up there. Like, when you're around Newcastle, it's a one-team town. Everyone knows rugby league. But on the same side, I think the clubs in those areas just expect you to stay. They expect it because you played in their junior systems, that they didn't have to sort of give you the respect that they gave other players that they brought in and things like that. And that happens at every club.
What's the mentality? Like, obviously Newcastle was a priority at that time, but it didn't happen. What was that like? Was that fire in you? Because I know you're fearless in there. Like, your mentality is just next level. But
you always want to play good against Knights, and you got that little chip on your shoulder. You want to sort of go against them, and just so happened that I said some things in the media when I left, which they all hated me. So every time I'd play against them, they'd bash me. They'd bash me, and Joey, like, I remember hitting a hole. I remember playing a game a couple of years later, and I hit a hole. Brett Kamoy took me to the line. I hit a hole in between Steve Simpson and Andrew Johns. Two of probably the toughest blokes in rugby league. Like, Steve Simpson is an absolute weapon. He's like underrated in my opinion when it comes to like back rowers, and hit a hole that wasn't there. Obviously not. He didn't want to take it himself and get smacked by Simo, so he just gave it to me. And they broke like two of my ribs and popped heaps of cartilage. And Joey gave me the biggest serve I've ever heard on the ground. Like, swearing at me, calling me a dog, never should have come, like, didn't belong from Newcastle, this and that. Like,
oh, no way.
But yeah, when I left, when they didn't want me, and my local newspaper in Maitland asked me who I thought would win the grand final that year between Parramatta and Knights, I said Parramatta would win 36-0.
Typical.
Everybody thought Parramatta was going to make it. But then since that, they all hated me. Oh, man, I was a kid. I was 17 years old. And I was cocky and jealous and a bit spiteful. And all those things come in, and I didn't care. But I was moving to Cronulla, and that's all I cared about. So, yeah, when I said that, you don't think about burning your bridges. When you're 17 years old, you just think, like, fuck you. But, a life experience.
What's it like? What was it like that early days, like the transition? Like, you're a Maitland boy living up in Newcastle, but you're going down to the Sharks. How does that look? What's the change of scenery?
Oh, it's a city, like a small fish. I lived at home. I moved into a share house with a bunch of guys, all from there. Was a couple of guys from Queensland, a guy from Port Macquarie. There's like four of us in this house, and this old lady was looking after us, and she was weird. Like, this really old lady, couldn't even talk to her. She sort of made meals every now and again. She made sure the groceries were packed, and we paid a couple $100 for board. And then I didn't even have an ID, or everyone else was 18. I was only 17, so they'd be going out, and I'd be sitting around on my own until you get a fake ID, and kept swinging around with all like the. I was in the top 25, so I think I was the youngest. I was 17 at that stage. The next oldest bloke would have been sort of 19. There would have been sort of two 19-year-olds, and then the others were like 22, 23, playing reserve grade. And I was knocking around all these guys. A 17-year-old from Maitland. Yeah, it was an experience. A couple of those guys are still my good mates of mine to this day, like Jared Taylor's, tucked me under his wing, John Mullane, Nick Youngquist, Andrew Delana, blokes from that went to Cronulla, and it's a couple of blokes that sort of grew up in that area, and it was good fun. It was a very sort of us versus them sort of mentality in the club. Like there was young guys and old guys. It was your Brett Camorley, Chris Beattie, Andrew Pearce, Jason Stevens, Chris McKenna, like these old guys that have played. A lot of them played, for Queensland, New South Wales, and then there was like these young kids that were cocky as hell, and we'd come to shoves all the time at training, and it was fun, but I enjoyed the underdog sort of mentality. I enjoyed the and still like we got to like 23 to 22, 23, and I was in like my 5th year of first grade, and I was like a senior player, and I was 22. But it was the dynamic changed. A lot of those older guys retired, and then there was me and Gal. We were the senior players basically, because we'd been there for a few years, and they bring all the young blokes through. And it was a tough couple of years on the field, but an amazing experience.
Amazing, bro. What a story, mate. I love the fact that your confidence. You had that confidence being young, and it sounded like the way you carried yourself. You were just in and amongst it with all the boys, and the way you carried yourself and stuff. In terms of routine, how was it? Like, now you're into that senior role. You're 22, 23. How was that?
I think it's time, man. It's time and experience. Like, I didn't have a routine when I was 18, 19, 20. But you develop what works. You find routines that work for you, things that work for you over time. I was very, very lucky. I played 18 years first grade. By my 18th year, I had it nailed. Like I knew, what I was doing at any time of the day, at sort of on any day of the week. And it's something that you've got to work out for yourself. I think take tips off what a lot of the senior players are doing, or what things that are working for other people. But at the end of the day, it's got to be food that you like to eat. Otherwise, you just won't do it. Ice bars are always, they're a pain, they hurt, but you got to make them work. Like things like that. It can't all be strict, and you got to live your life as well. I think you got to have that balance. Otherwise, if you're not happy off the field, you're not going to be happy on the field, and you're not going to be playing well. But just finding balance in everything you do in life, I've always found for me was what worked when it come to routine, and you go and have a beer. But if you go have a beer, you got to train harder, and just trying to find that balance.
You always you're always that dude that's always connecting the boys
all
when it comes to culture and the camaraderie, and you love to get out and organise these get-togethers and that. So we always that person at each club.
Well, as I said, you sort of grow into that role. And
17.
I was really good. Like, it was really good when I was younger. There's a guy named Chris Beattie. I sort of remember he's a massive prop. And he's a country boy. I think he's from Ipswich.
He was a machine, man.
He was a weapon. He had you call him Beetroot because he had a big he's big blonde,
face too.
and he had a big red face. But he had the biggest. He was like a country boy. He had massive hands. He shake his hands, and he just felt like a 12-year-old kid. But we used to have run-ins a lot when I was younger. It's like a few, nearly got into fights on the field, nearly got into fights, having a beer together. When I got suspended for kneeing Shane Martini when he dove into my knee. Did
he dive into your knee?
He dove straight into my knee. And I got blamed for it. Got 10 weeks suspension. And then in that time, I think he was in rehab at the time, and I was obviously getting touched up every day. And he was fit as for a 110 kilo prop. He was probably the best long distance runner and things like that. So I spent a lot of time with him, and I think I I learned a lot off him, like about training and about organising the guys, because he was always one of the guys that organised. He'd organise trip-aways, he'd organise fundraisers for trip-aways, he'd organise guys getting together and things like that. And yeah, you just pick up little things from people and realise that if someone doesn't get everyone together, no one's going to get together. So
100%.
Yeah.
Someone's got to do it.
someone's got to do
There's
it.
always that one dude at each club. Someone has to do it.
Yeah. That's Birdie.
And Birdie was that man.
You would have been with Mace as well.
Oh, yeah. Mace was up at Newey, man, taking everyone under his wing, man. I go, come on, Buzz.
I sort of left it when I got a little bit older. You sort of leave it for hopefully someone comes in and takes it. One of the young guys, and he can, you got kids and things like that. You can sort of drift in and out.
Yeah.
You don't want to be leading the charge when you're.
You still
30.
do, mate.
Well, when you're 34 or 33 with 2 kids, you can't be leading the charge.
Who was leading the charge after we all got brushed from the Titans that year? Who was leading the charge? Was it you?
That wasn't me, mate.
No, it would have been. Who would have been? Hainsey.
The home playing
Yeah,
man.
I can't remember. It was Morty, maybe.
Yeah, Morty. Nah,
Morty and that might have been leading the charge, but you can't be.
Yeah.
If you're leading the charge, you have to be at everything.
Yeah.
And when you're older and you got kids and you got a wife and things like that, you can't be at everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully someone young comes and takes the reins and goes from there. But now I've got to lead the charge at like Southport, coaching up there. So it's good fun.
That's
nice.
good. Now, hey, look, State of Origin, man. New South Wales boy. How was that?
Yeah, it's amazing. Like when I grew up watching State of Origin, it was all about the fights. Like he used to like get there and sit in front of the TV and just wait for the first fight. And everyone used to like sit on the edge of his seat, and the aggression and the passion and like the no holds barred attitude, which was State of Origin Rugby League. That's the way I've always sort of seen Rugby League, State of Origin. Sorry. So yeah, I sort of went into it with that attitude. I took that sort of energy into sort of the way I played, and I guess it suited that arena. And yeah, it was always like the highlight of my year, being involved in those surroundings. It was, we run at the pump. We were coming up against, probably if not the best team ever assembled. Less than an Australian team in Queensland. Potentially sort of 3 or 4 immortals in that one team. Future immortals. So yeah, it was tough in terms of our wins and losses, but when it come to how I felt I played in those matches, how I felt, I developed as a rugby league player. I wouldn't. I guess I would change it. I'd want to win some, but I wouldn't change anything I could have done.
Was he part of that when they started that run, that team that went in 2006?
Yeah, I was in the second year, 2007. I debuted. So game 2, 2007. It was my first game in Sydney. We got beat that game, which was a dead, and then put us into a dead rubber. So they won the first one. So it was. You never think about a dynasty back then. Like it was second year. Teams had won and lost 1, they won and lost 2. You're not thinking 3, 4, 5, 8 down the track. But every year it got harder. Every year that team could feel like it got stronger, and every year the pressure kept mounting on us to get the monkey off our back. But every year you go into it thinking you're going to win. Like I never ever went into an Origin thinking, their team's too good. Like they're going to beat us. I always thought we could outlast them or outplay them in one facet of the game. But they beat us by a point, 2 points, 1 point, 2 points. Like here and there it
Don't
hurt.
worry, we felt your pain too because we're
it
New
hurt.
South Wales fans here, man.
I remember seeing your name on the teams list, and I was like, bro, we're a chance here, bro. I love watching you play, bro. You and Paul Gallen together just bashing everyone. Luke O'Donnell as well. Like I remember those days, man. You 3 were just bashing everyone.
Yeah, well, I thought we were always pretty dominant in the forwards.
Yeah.
Like, our forwards usually got out of our end pretty well. We tackled deep reasonably well. It was just the sheer class that they had in their spine, which just was the turning point. It was the difference every year. It wasn't one player. It wasn't like Cam Smith's better than Michael Ennis or Jonathan Thurston's better than Mitchell Pearce or whatever. It wasn't a one thing. It was the combination of those guys together was just felt like it was unstoppable. But you know, we had our chances. But their coolness, their calmness, their composure in the big moments, and experience, I guess, for that matter, probably got them over the line in a lot of those close ones.
Yeah, because you had when you think about your teams over those years, man, can remember TC, Piercy, man, there was a lot of changes. Sourwood, James Sourwood.
Yeah, heaps of changes.
Right, heaps of changes, man. How you meant to win series on series?
It was like Mullo, Piercy, Sowie, Toddy, Jimmy Maloney. Like it was just a revolving door in the halves, which was difficult. I was in there at some set. Yeah. I was in there for a few games. Back when I was a lot lighter, faster, and better looking.
Man, how did you go be the 5'8" at State of Origin level when they talk about the game being probably one of the fastest games that you ever play in your whole career?
Mate, it's funny if you look back at the history. Like there's a lot of big games that have been won by 5'8" who are not 5'8".
Yeah,
like Sean Timmins played 5'8", won a series, kicked a field goal from 40 metres. Freddie and Loz are sort of bigger. Like Baz is sort of bigger, more aggressive, than traditional skill first 5'8". And I was I didn't know what I was doing, man. Like at that time, I think Braith must have had a bad game in game 2 in Origin, and there was me and Braith in New South Wales to pick from, and I was at. It's a shock to me. I don't really, never really saw myself as a 5'8", but felt like I played 5'8" for New South Wales before I played 5'8" at club level. It was just pure luck and chance, and then I got man of the match in that game that I played 5'8", so it sort of reinforced that it was a good choice, but I'm not a 5'8". It was luck and the environment, that Origin environment that suited me more than the actual position.
100%.
But it worked, but shame it couldn't have worked a bit longer.
Let's go to the beautiful Gold Coast now. When was the year? What year did you move up here to start the transition into Gold Coast life and playing for the Titans?
Yeah, I come up here end of 2009 for the 2010 season. The dynamic was I think I was a young boy when I come up here. So I come here and I would have been 26, something like that. And in the oldies, youngies touch game at the end of the week, the captain's run, I was in the young team at 26. And I'd always sort of been, for the last 5 years, I'd been a senior player. So coming here was a culture shock. It was very different. And I'm not talking about the location or the town or the vibrant nightlife of the Gold Coast, the glitz and glamour. It's more what happened around the club. I think the way they built the Titans early days, they wanted a lot of senior players. They didn't want players who were going to be playing up in town and getting in trouble. So they got Luke Baileys and Mark Minicellos and Anthony LaFranchi's and Princey and Presto. Like that, a very strong senior influence. So coming here was a strange dynamic for me to be back to sort of where I was when I was 18 again. And then the transition of that, when all those players moved on, retired, the young players coming through was, again, another different experience. But I loved coming up here. It was a breath of fresh air. Probably no secret, I got into a bit of strife in Sydney. At the end of my tenure at the Sharks, had a season overseas at Super League Catalans, and then come here with a fresh start, and I really enjoyed the change of scenery.
How did that? So let's go back to that season you had at Catalans. How was that? Did that change you as a person coming back to the NRL?
Yeah, well, it did. I guess you got if you don't learn from your mistakes, you're an idiot. So yeah, obviously changed as a person from the experience of going over there and the stress that it put on myself and my family and things like that. On more of a social, personal manner. But I loved my experience at Catalans. It was probably only rep football that brought me back. Got the taste in 07, 08. Got the taste of that, playing for Australia, playing for New South Wales. And I wanted more of it. So it was always only a one stop, have 1 year, get out of my system, come back. But I always said I was going to come back and finish there because I actually really, really loved it. Yeah. Which you've been there. Catalans is an amazing place.
Surely Bernard Gosh got you the brown paper bags to try and make you stay.
No, he did. He did. No, that wasn't a brown paper bag. It wasn't needed.
Didn't need to.
They pay you above the table. Yeah. It doesn't even matter.
You could look after there.
It was because over there it's all quota spots. It's not really salary caps that sort of affected people back then.
He was living in a mansion.
I was living in Malibu Village. It was an actual shithole.
On the beach. Most seedy spot ever. Yeah, Malibu Village.
But no, it was amazing. Like like France it's the pressure is off.
Yeah.
When it comes to everything, there's no promos, there's no media, there's no there's nothing you have to do but live your life and win football games. You're judged by only what you put on the paddock, which suited me because what I put on the paddock was usually pretty good. It was what I was putting on off the field was was getting me into trouble, which didn't matter over there. Not that I was doing it, but I mean that side of professional sport didn't matter. So I come back here and with always the ambitions of going over there and finishing my careers in my twilight years and having a few more years at the Catalans.
You won a championship there, eh?
Yeah, we won the Challenge Cup.
How was that?
18. I was suspended for the match.
Oh, man.
Oh, mate.
King of suspensions.
King of suspensions catches up with him in the biggest game of his career, Wembley.
I was there in spirit.
Yeah.
I was on the field with him when we won.
Yeah. We asked Meaty that question, who was the biggest partier? And your name got tossed up.
I know, and I didn't even play. No, it was good. It was amazing that celebration, being at such a did you guys win a Challenge Cup?
Nah, you guys were the first. Nah, I never won.
Didn't you win one at Saints?
Nah. We got beat by you guys in that 2018. We thought we were going to win the Challenge Cup. But
you won everything but
we won in. We went in there pretty cocky, and then we got beat by you guys in the semis.
Yeah. How did you not win one at Saints? They won like 10.
Nah, I know. Rub it in more. I got to win 2 though. Yeah. 2 Super League ones.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. You win the Super League, the build up over there, they live and breathe it over there.
Yeah.
Much like here, but it's different. The crowds are loud. Everyone's so much more outspoken over there. Around rugby league, not just in the teams. Around rugby league and the media. It's amazing the build up.
I don't know what an NRL grand final is like, but if it's anything like what the Super League grand final is at Old Trafford, man, that's the best.
I think the history of those stadiums over there is something like Wembley and Old Trafford. These aren't your sort of pop up stadiums like ANZ's.
Yeah.
What's it called these days?
Telstra.
Is it still Telstra?
I don't know.
Stadium Australia.
Australia.
It's called 1,000 things.
Yeah.
But that's built in 2000. These places have been. They've had. Every man and his dog has played all the biggest games in every sport, all the biggest concerts. All the biggest concerts have been in these stadiums for 50 years. It's amazing to sort of walk on there and play those matches over there. I didn't get to play any of the big matches for Catalans and I guess in the Super League, but you play some World Cup ones over there and get to experience in that matter. It's good fun. What's
the transition now? Obviously, you've gone from footy, now you've jumped into all the businesses that you're doing at the moment, your own cafes and all that. Give us a explanation of the transition.
Yeah, it's hard to really explain it. It's things sort of pop up, and then your life takes a little bit of a turn, and then something else pops up, and you add it in, and then your time feels like it's all over the place. I took another job. I was working for Origin Energy. And then the businesses picked up momentum, and all of a sudden I was sitting on the computer doing reports and things like that until 1 a.m, and something had to give. So the Origin job went. And now it's just constantly finding a balance of what's working. It's all new. As you know, you want to take the work ethic that you learnt playing rugby league. Playing rugby league, people don't understand the work ethic and the dedication and the professionalism and things like that have to go into maintaining a lifestyle like that for a prolonged amount of time. People I think from the outside, people look at rugby league players and think that they're dopey and they're dumb and they're grunts. They just sort of turn up and bash each other, which they have to do that side of it as well. But the dedication that it takes to turn up on time, that every single day, you don't get days off, you don't get sick days, you don't. You work through Easter. You don't have. There's no holidays and things like that. Can't take RDOs and things like that. They just don't exist. You turn up, you're sore, you're sick. You got to turn up and do it every day. So that side of rugby league, I think, teaches you a lot in moving into post career. The dedication that you have to put in to do one thing, but then it sort of basically just rolls over to the next thing you do. And you think you've got no experience, you think you've got no idea what you're doing, but I think a lot of the time that work ethic can sort of get you out of it and get you through those hard times.
100%. What was the feeling like? Obviously, you were coaching at that time in France, and you knew that footy's coming to an end. How was that feeling like? Obviously, coming back home, were you prepared for that, or were you just kind of like?
I thought I was, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
You think you're prepared. You think my career's coming to an end. I'll just move into coach and I'll be fine. And I probably was fine when I moved into coaching. But then I moved out of coaching and I wasn't fine.
Yeah.
You lose that environment, that team that you're always around, the guys that you're always bouncing off, you always were banter, you always putting shit on each other, you always got purpose. And when you lose that purpose and you got to figure out the next thing to do, it can just send you off the rails. But I won't say I went off the rails, but it's not all easy days. That pressure amounts, and that pressure then amounts on your family, and then your family, that life is disturbed as well, and it's just a constant roller coaster. But you deal with it, you work hard, hopefully you rely on the strength around you, like your family and your friends, and get through it and figure out your next venture, which is, I was very, very thankful that I got busy, and I got very busy quick, and now I can sort of slow back and adjust on how I want to live my life.
I think that's the main point. You've got to find ways to get busy, and stay busy, because if you don't, you're going to be feeling empty. Oh, what can I do? Yeah. What can I do? If you can, we talk about our transitions, and we think about it's coming. It's coming. I think the main one is moving countries. That can get you, and then how do you settle back in? And you feel like when you come back, you feel like you need to go straight into it straight away. Yeah. But I think you need to be patient at the same time, but also finding out what's going to work for you. Because if you're really looking for that hustle, really looking for that next payday, that's when the stresses come.
I think that's a good point for you made there. Yeah. When it comes to coming back from Super League, it's different to retiring at Titans. Yep. You retire at the Titans, Anthony Don retires. He picks up a coaching job at the Titans. He picks up a teaching job down at PBC because he's got these relationships that he's built over the last few years that he's been, his career's been winding down. When you retire over in the Super League, you come here with no relationships. Yep. You come here with relationships you thought you had from 5 years ago, but everyone's forgotten you. So you got to build them, plus dealing with the mental anguish of changing life and retiring and all that things that everyone else is doing here. But you got to basically build those relationships back up again to sort of figure out where you're going to go. And it is difficult. But I think getting back into rugby league was good for me. like you did at Mudgee. You pumped us twice.
That was crazy. Like, when this guy hasn't played a game for almost 3 years, then he comes back and plays local league and wins a local league grand final for Southport Tigers.
Highest paid.
Still highest paid player,
paid.
by the way.
Yeah.
Still,
Thanks,
and,
Clive.
and still playing the same. Like, still playing with
It's a little
that
bit slower.
intensity.
Yeah.
That
Well, it's
intensity of
competi-
just
it's
jamming dudes.
Yeah.
It's competitiveness,
From
man.
2 in.
It's
Yeah.
something-
Jamming from 2 in.
3 in. Come on, I'm not saying I'm
Yeah.
never defending the centres. No, it's competitiveness.
Yeah.
It's something that I guess always helped me in those big games. I guess it was something that probably was my downfall in a lot of the games, other games as well, because I was over competitive and I didn't never want to lose and do stupid things
Spent
and
the dummy a lot, eh?
brain explosions and things like that, which come into being competitive.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't die. Your body slows down. Your mind doesn't, but your body does. And you still think you can do all those things. And
You still play now, Birdie. Come on,
you keep
bro.
tearing. I've torn my Achilles because I thought I could play. Yeah. We would have won that tournament too if I didn't tear my Achilles.
You were just thinking about that money.
Yeah, true. Nines tournament. Shout out to Ants Mitchell. What a great tournament that was.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was good
You played for
fun.
the Reborn. How come you guys selected the Reborn crew? Good mates with Trav, is that it?
My mate, yeah, good mates with Trav. I actually lived with Trav for a little bit in transition.
He's doing
Trav and his
well.
brother. His brother's a good mate of mine, Luke Young. Former Bulldogs family, Phil Young. Yeah, they're good people. And he asked me to play with Tackers, give me the call.
Tackers reckons he was best in the team that weekend.
The best on
No,
the 2 days.
he
Or?
wasn't. That little bowling ball PG.
Oh, mate,
He
he
was
was
the
a
best, eh?
machine.
Yeah, he was a machine.
Yeah, it was amazing. But
Should-
mate, it was good down there. He's doing great things.
Yeah,
I think
that's
Mitch.
awesome.
I think it's only a matter of time before he's got Fox Sports or Channel 9 or someone
Yep.
televising that thing on TV because there's a lot of people in the stands and had a lot of people following those matches.
It's crazy. A lot of people went away from that day saying, all right, I'm going to put a team in next year.
Yeah,
All right, I'm going to put a team
It's
in
going to be
next
like
year.
30
Yeah.
teams next year.
Yeah, be a 40-team comp now.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
You probably have a team with your company now.
no, I've got to go and pay for Reborn. We've got to win it. Yeah, we've got to win it now after being so close. And then me blowing my calf in the 5th game as a 40-year-old.
Come on, man. Don't
As
be
a
too hard on
40-year-old,
yourself,
man.
man.
I
Don't
know.
be too hard on
That's my
yourself.
I
fault.
don't know how Becky does it, mate.
It's my fault, man.
Hey?
I feel sorry for the boys having to put up with me.
How's your missus deal with this, mate?
She leaves and goes to Taylor Swift concerts.
That's right. So only 2 of them went, eh? I seen that on Instagram.
Yeah,
Yeah.
My youngest, did my best to sort of shield her from knowing that her older sister could only get 2 tickets.
Oh, true.
So
Oh, no.
I didn't let them draw straws. Becky wasn't going to let the kids go on their own.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was good.
How did you get those tickets? How did you get them? Contact?
Contacts.
Oh,
He's got all the
man,
contacts.
The networks that you build up in
Networks.
your career.
You got to build those networks back up,
Yep.
us.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, let's go into that. So, like, what have you taken from your professional career into now, like, with, what are the skills? What are the skills that you've picked up, like, as being an elite professional athlete for so long, and taking that into life after footy?
I think the one thing is just doing whatever it takes.
Yep.
That's probably the thing that I can sort of think the most. Like, coming back, and if there's things that need to be done, you sit up till 12 o'clock and do them. Like, if there's not enough time in the day, you make time.
Yep.
The hard work and the dedication and whatever it takes to get the job done, I've found that for me, and it gives me purpose. It keeps me occupied. It keeps me from getting bored, and that's sort of what's been working for me lately. It's something, the way I train, whatever it takes to get fit, whatever it takes to get strong, whatever it takes to win, whatever it takes, is pretty much something that I've sort of had in my head when I played footy, and I guess it's stayed in there now.
What does your day look like? So, obviously with me and Eddie, we love to go to the gym. We're working out in the morning. Do you focus on that fitness side of things?
Yeah,
post-footy?
well, not at the moment
Yeah.
because I've torn my
Yeah, injured,
Achilles,
yeah.
and but yeah, usually hit the gym probably two times a week. Usually go for, back before it was 2 to 3 runs a week, like long road runs. I still want to get a marathon under my belt.
Yeah, true.
every time I sort of feel like I try to train, my calf blows and then I can't do it. But it's you get used. You got to read your body. You think I know by now how to read my body and stop pushing it when it's telling me to stop. But yeah, I like to keep pretty active. Play a lot of golf. Which
Still
is
doing
always
those 5 foot gimmies.
5 foot games, please. Don't get upset because I pumped you every single time.
Every time we go play golf, is that a gimme? Is that a gimme, Zeb? And he goes, fuck, man, it's about 5 foot.
All he has to say is no. We have to say is no. You just have to say no.
That's how you get your handicap down there.
Yeah, exactly. Don't miss those short ones.
Hey, just to wrap it up, what's your key message that you can obviously share to our audience today?
I think it works. I speak to kids all the time, and they ask about, what do I need to do? Like, what do I need to play rugby? We spoke about it, and what's the thing that you sort of carried from rugby league career, and it's something that I think more than anything is hard work. It's hard work beats talent any time in the week. Hard work, like just dedicating yourself to doing whatever it takes to get that end goal. That's something that's worked for me over the years. You know, I was never the fastest. I was never the most skillful. I was never the biggest. But I could get up there. I could mix it with these guys because of my aggressiveness, my competitiveness, and my hard work. So I think that's something that you can apply to all facets of your life. It's something that I've tried to do, and it's going right at the moment.
Nice.
Awesome, man. I really appreciate your time coming over here and having a chat with us.
Yeah.
Obviously, sacrificing those other meetings as well for us. So we feel important. So
Yeah.
it's really good.
Nah, cheers, bro.
These days, you sit on the computer, my back gets that sore. I'm happy to come back and see
You find
you guys.
yourself doing a lot of emails and all that kind of stuff. That's
all that bullshit.
The new bird.
man. Smart man. Nah, appreciate your time, man. Thanks for coming on. Like, this is a platform to like share your journey into transition, what you're getting up to now, and we love it. We love what you're doing, and keep doing it, man. Just keep chasing it, man. Like all of us, we like to think that we're hustlers right at the beginning. We're only like learning how to crawl, but you know, obviously, success is not built overnight. So you got to put in the hard yards first, and I feel like that's what you're doing at the moment.
Man, you retire from rugby league.
Yeah.
You think your life's over. It's not even half done.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's not even half done. You're not even halfway.
Like we talk about retirement, and he goes, "Wow, man! Like we retire when you're 70, bro. Like and you retire, you finish playing footy like you're 35.
Yeah.
Mate, you still got yonks to go, man.
Yeah.
So you've just got to find that.
Just figure it out.
Figure it out. And we'll go.
I appreciate it, Birdie. Thanks
Cheers,
for
boys.
coming, mate.
My man.
Thank you, bro.
Birdmans. Let's go.
Let's go.